Well, here's my little garden at the river, and I'll show you what's growing on in here. There's a lot of stuff growing, and I need to harvest some things. It's been several weeks since I've been here, so let me show you what we have. Now, the sunflowers are just beautiful, and everything is growing just like a jungle over here. The nasturtiums are beautiful too. They are climbing all the way across the little garden here. And then the dill is doing really nice over here. I've got some little flowers starting to pop out there. And then the beans, the greasy beans, are just all over the fence over here. Look, so this tomato plant here has been hit with blight, unfortunately, as all the others were as well in my other garden here. So not good about the blight. And then some amaranth is looking really pretty, and then lemongrass is doing great. That is a great spot for the lemongrass. Down here looks like it's a butternut squash that will not most likely grow a squash, but I just wanted to see how it would do over here. These jade bush beans, they're just covered up underneath here. So there's just tons and tons of beans under here. And I'm going to go ahead and get those today while I'm here. That's one of the things about having a garden in another place where you don't live, is you can't wait for them to get to the size you want to pick them. You either have to pick them, you know, it might be a little bit early, it might be really late, they might be really big, but that's okay. I'm just kind of testing this little garden area to see what's growing. And these will be wonderful in some curry or a stir fry. Rosemary is doing wonderfully, as is the French tarragon, my favorite herb this year. Over here, let's see what else we've got here. Big carrots. We'll see if there's actually a carrot down in there later, though. I have some green onion that I will go ahead and get today. I'm going to make some jalapeno poppers this evening, and I like to put the green onion in there. There's some chives over there that are doing okay, and then I succession planted cilantro, so it is up. I need to water it. Of course, I haven't been here, so nothing's really been getting any water. But there's so much morning dew in this area that the plants do get quite a bit of watering just from the dew. And there's some cilantro there. Well, there's the harvest. It is very heavy. That's a lot. I don't know if you can tell how much it is, but it is a lot of green beans. These will probably be going to the neighbors. I already have that much in my refrigerator at home from my other garden, so alrighty, thanks for watching. Have a beautiful day. Well, here is the river garden, and it is 9:30 in the morning, and it's around 50 degrees. So a lot of the morning dew is getting heated up by the sun, so it's kind of like almost a steam coming off the garden. And I want to show you too this pretty tree right here. I just love how it looks in the morning. The dew is just dripping off of it, and the sun hits it, and it kind of sparkles. So I like to do my little garden tours at 9:30. That's exactly when it's hitting that little tree. So anyway, okay, let me show you what's over here. Well, I just noticed down here a huge zucchini. Unfortunately, I was not here to pick it when it was a smaller size, but it looks like zucchini bread will be in order. That thing is huge. And then look at this corn. It is doing wonderfully. I am so excited about this corn. Look how high it is. There's no telling how high that is, but I'm going to go over here and check this out. Let's have a look and see how it's doing. But I haven't been out here to water it or fertilize it or anything, so I am hoping that I can get that watered while I'm here, and maybe next time I'm out here I can harvest some corn. That would be great. The little silks on here are just so pretty. The little red, this is that Country Gentleman shoe peg, white shoe peg corn, sweet corn. Looks like there's a little tiny watermelon that will not grow big enough for me to harvest, but considering how late I planted that, I'm surprised there's even one on there. And then right up here on the arches are the greasy beans, and they are doing very well. No Japanese beetles, thank goodness. They actually have left my other garden, so there's no more Japanese beetles in my other garden. And then there's little sunflowers everywhere that are looking very nice. A little sugar baby watermelons over there. Here there's a lot of basil. all kinds of basil, and one of these is the Thai hairy lemon, and I'm also growing that at my other house. It smells just like lemon zest and basil combined. Butternut squash are doing really well out here. I'll show you a couple more over here. You can tell if it's ready to harvest by pressing it with your nail, and if it leaves an indentation, then it's not ready, but if it doesn't, it's ready. So it's still leaving an indentation on this one, so I'll check a couple others and see how those are doing. Signs of I can press my thumbnail in it, so I'm not going to pick that one yet. Then there's one more over here. I think this was the first one that grew here, so maybe this one's ready. Let's see. I am going to wait and leave these on the vine. My next harvest hopefully will include greasy beans and some butternut squash and maybe a watermelon or two. Have a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. It is August 31st, and I'm in Zone 6B, Western North Carolina, USA, and it is 9:45 in the morning, around 70, 71 degrees. It has been so hot here the past 3 or 4 days, and our air conditioner was broken yesterday, so that made it worse. So I do have my air conditioner running in the background. We're trying to get our house cooled off. All right, this is my tomatillo plant that, my goodness, it has just been putting out all these little tiny tomatillos everywhere, but there's nothing in those. They're just like little balloons. So I would love to try to grow this again next year in another container by itself. This was just kind of an accidental planting. I didn't know it was going to take off and do so well. Well, I guess it's not doing well after all because it's not producing tomatillos. I show you here, it's a little, just nothing. It's just hollow. All of these are hollow. Lemongrass looking wonderful, and in September the lemongrass always just takes off. It loves when it starts to cool down, and it starts to just smell beautiful, beautiful when the weather starts to cool down. So that'll be my lemongrass harvest for this year. And then over here was just some basil that never quite made it into containers or into my garden, and this is called Thai hairy lemon basil. And I just put the little seed cells over here because, well, I didn't know where else to put them, and there's soil underneath them, and those things have grown down through the container and have rooted down into that soil underneath it. Anyway, that basil tastes exactly like lemongrass, very strong lemongrass, or lemon verbena even. I grew lemon verbena a couple of years ago, and so it's very lemony. You know, some basils still have a very strong basil taste, but that one tastes a lot more like lemon than I've ever tasted. And then the Kaffir lime tree. There's a new seedling that every year when I grow my Kaffir lime tree, and by the way, for those of you who are interested in my Kaffir lime tree, I am going to try very hard to do a video, maybe a 20-minute long video on how I've grown that tree over the past 5 years, just like I did a long video on the lemongrass, because I love that tree, and I know anyone that grows one will love one as well. Okay, but anyway, back to this little seedling. This was from some limes I got last year, and every year when I grow that tree, I get about probably 15 to 20 limes off of it. I'm hoping this year I'm going to get a lot more. And of those 15 to 20 limes, I only get about 5 seeds. For some reason, the fruit not every fruit produces a seed. And so of those 5 seeds that I get, I can usually sprout one tree. So I've been doing that for 3 years now. My first year I didn't sprout any of them. And then my second year with getting fruit, this was a little tree that's been growing for 2 years now. Looks like a spider has found its home over here. I'll have to do something with this soon to make sure it grows up right or something. I don't know. I've never grown a tree from seed before. So this is the 3rd one. So real happy about that. That's great. And then the French tarragon is looking really nice. It's kind of drying out at the base a little bit. I think that might be just because we had so much heat the past few days. I don't like to see my tarragon doing that. But anyway, it is. It's probably fine. I probably can cut some of this back here. I've been drying a lot of it. This looks like it needs to be fed something. It's a lighter green than I'd like to see. Or this one's nice and still has that dark green foliage. Pesto basil, looking nice. Greek oregano. Been trying to keep that watered. It takes a lot of water. I could probably put it in a little wash bin as well. I'd really like to water all of my plants from the bottom, provided that they have an established root system, because I won't overwater them. You know, they can take up the water that they need. If they don't need the water, it stays down there. I wouldn't let it stay in the bottom too long, because then you could get root rot. But in the summertime, that water is always gone within usually a few hours. Those plants just drink it up. Alright, so I really like to water from the bottom. And then this is a pepper plant that I think I'm going to need to feed it as well. It's got a lot of yellowing leaves. I haven't really been feeding these in a while. Rosemary. And then over here I propagated some tarragon, and it is doing okay so far. I've been keeping it under the shade of this tree so that it can harden off a little bit and kind of acclimate to the new temperatures and the soil and everything. But it looks like that might actually do well, so I may have a successful tarragon planting here from a cutting, which I'll be very happy about that. Here's the lime tree. Lots of new growth popping out everywhere, and lots of limes, just covered up with limes this year. So this will be more limes than I've had, I think, in any year past. Okay, and it really responded well to my pruning that I did last month. And I mean, I pruned it heavily, but there are just limes all over it, more blooms and more limes coming up everywhere. So I use the leaves for cooking, but I have a pound or two of leaves in my freezer, so I'm good for leaves for a while. So now I want some of that lime zest. And then these are some of my winter plantings. I went ahead and started those, and I need to go ahead and move those out. That's basically just spinach and kale and rapini, and then I have a lot of things that are already started down there in my garden. Hopefully you guys can get out there and you're getting your fall gardens ready. Have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching. Well, I haven't walked down to my garden lately, and today it is August 31st. It's about 12:30 in the afternoon and around 75 degrees. So let's go down here. I just came out here to get a few beans, and I want to take a look around, and I thought I would shoot a quick video while I'm doing it. Alright, so it is pretty warm today, but it has been very hot the past 3 days. Like almost 90, like high 80s, and just really, really hot. Not much rain, so we had a nice rain last night, and the plants will love that, I'm sure. So I don't have a lot going on in the garden right now. I'm transitioning over to the fall. My other gardens are keeping me busy, so this one I'm just kind of letting it go. I am still picking beans. I've got beans coming out my ears. I'm giving them away. I have so many. And right here, I cleaned out this bed, and the strawberry plant has just, it's just crawling all over this bed over here. So I am the kind of gardener, if a plant shows me that it likes its spot and is doing well, I just let it do its thing, and I'll work around it. So this is going to be a strawberry bed next year, apparently. And then I have some sweet potatoes over there. You'll notice that there's some mulch in this bed, and that's an old leaf mulch that I actually dug out of this property. We had some old mulch over there that's broken down from last year, and I started digging around in it, and there were so many worms in it. So I put it over here, and I know that's going to make this soil a little bit more acidic than it normally would be. That's fine with me. I'd like to keep that bed over there more alkaline. That's where I plant my onions and garlic, and I like for those to be a little bit more on the sweet side than the hot, you know, like a hot onion or hot garlic. So if you grow your garlic and onions and those kind of things in an alkaline soil, you'll notice that it's a little more sweet. That's why my little red onions are sweeter than they probably would be if I planted them over here. Now I did put a little bit of leaf mulch over there, but I will definitely be putting a lot of wood ashes to make it more alkaline, probably this January, February, with all of the downed winter wood from the woods. I have some of my fall plantings already up. My sugar snap peas are doing well. I have some kale back there. And what I'll do with that kale is I'll thin them out. I'm not going to throw away the seedlings when I pull out the, when I need to thin them. Like for instance right there, there are 3 seedlings that have popped up pretty close together. Well, those need to be spread out, and so I'll just gently take them out of that soil because this is a square foot garden and the soil is very friable, very easy to move seedlings around, and then I'll just space them out accordingly. And that's how I do the square foot gardening. I can just start my seeds, direct sow them right here, and I don't like to disturb them once they're up because they always do better when they're not disturbed, but it's better than throwing them away because I already have some seeds started. Okay, and then over here I'll probably succession plant and do some more sugar snap peas over here. Okay, so I put those in about 2 weeks ago, so I'll go ahead and start some more here. And then over here I have a rapini coming up. There's about 4 or 5 rapini plants over here. I really enjoyed growing that this past spring. Bought some beans, like I mentioned before. So there's the jade, and I'm just coming down here to get some beans, but I'm not getting the jade. I am getting some greasy beans over there. Okay, and the Japanese beetles have found other homes after they've done all their damage on this one. But as you can see, there are just a ton of greasy beans on here. So I'm getting those today, and then more jade bush beans. The Mexican bean beetles have come out now, so that's what this damage you see here on my bush beans is from. And it took a while for the Mexican bean beetles to get over here, but I found a couple on here, and that's what that's from. But these are pretty much spent. I mean, I have harvested enough off of those, so I'll be pulling those out here very soon. I've cut back a lot of my coneflowers. Galangal over here is loving it, loving the this area, this clay soil that I amended. But I expect to see this in September to really take off. It likes the cool weather, as does the lemongrass. So my Thai ingredients will really start to grow well here when it starts to cool down. All of this here that you see is just all eaten off, and these are seeds I'm saving. These are the pink tip greasy beans. Mint, fennel. Over here I'll show you my fennel. I'm going to have to grow a lot more fennel next year, and I grew a nice bowl of fennel at my other garden, and it was wonderful. And so here, there's some fennel pollen here. So that's nice. I'm going to save the seeds for that, because I love to cook with fennel seed. So, and let's see. Okay, so we have some carrots over here. Doing okay. Son's garden's doing fine. Zucchini, I don't know if I have one down in there yet or not. I don't know that I'll get one. This is the Romanesco zucchini. There are, there's a squash beetle right there. They have found this plant. I can get usually 4 off of here in the evening. They're everywhere on there. And then this is the Asian wing bean. And it requires a very long, hot growing season. I don't know that I'll get beans off of this, but I wanted to try. But I don't even see any blooms on here. So that's because of my climate. I can be pretty much sure. And then the thyme right down there, looking good. Alright, that's what's growing in the garden. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, and thanks for watching.